Let us discuss on 24 into 7 medium and live reporting. Television news is 24 into 7. Television news provides the opportunity to the reporters and journalists to cover the news from the exact location of the event or development and bring live reporting to audiences as it is happening. Such reporting requires skills which are both technical and social, as the reporter needs to do report, analyze and comment side by side while maintaining links with the studio anchors and outdoor broadcast van, or commonly known as OB van. Even studio anchors need to be well acquainted with all the developments to handle any breaking news in between the shows. Phone-ins become extremely important in television medium as helps to get first reactions from the sources. Studio anchors need to be acquainted with all current happenings to ask important and correct questions to any eminent personality available to comment as well as the reporters in a swift manner. For example, the preliminary results by anti-doping agencies showcase that a prominent player is accused of doping. In that case, the anchor should be able to deal with the situation and ask the right questions to a former player, coach, officials of management bodies, and fellow players as well. In television channels, compete for covering the news first and breaking it on their channels as viewers would want to remain updated. In comparison with print medium, especially newspapers, they would have to file a story at the end of the day, but with the full details and developments until the newspaper goes for print. Unlike print journalists, television journalists have to report each development from the scene or site of event such as during terror attacks. Television news has an advantage over print news on occasions where live reporting becomes crucial, such as election results or budget announcement. Whereas TV news channels have to repeat news items on days which have few news stories. Let us discuss on writing for the visuals. Writing for print news is very different from writing for television news. As in TV news, words need to be heard rather than being read. In TV news, language is one of the most important elements of the entire package, whereas visuals and sounds remain the primary fodder for the stories. Language is to be used alongside the other elements of a story such as moving images, sounds, graphics, though it helps to weave the story together in a logical manner. Writing for TV news is different from print as it is for the masses that may be illiterate, semi-literate and literate. Furthermore, in TV news, one does not have the opportunity to pause on the words that are not understood or unclear, or if one wants to take own time to comprehend the story. Thus, it is often said that writing for visuals, especially for TV news, has been basic and precise to convey the same meanings as intended by the reporter. Simple and basic writing does not mean that language has been elementary level. Rather, it could use everyday metaphors and analogies to put across their point of view in a brief yet precise manner. Another important features of TV news writing is that it has to be conversational. It should not be extremely formal, and the audiences should feel like they are themselves on the location of the news happening. Thus, two important principles for TV news. Brevity is the key to TV news writing due to time constraints, but alongside, the copy should be written simply and eloquently. Decorative, heavy words, and jargon should be avoided to keep the news copy simple and convey the exact meanings. Big numbers and other data such as population, comparisons, GDP growth rates, election vote share, demographic details, market share could be shown through infographics with sources mentioned. News writing should complement the visuals rather than overpowering them or distracting from the visuals. It should match the storyline and tone of the story. There need to be clear demarcations for file footage and the new footage collected by the reporter. Visuals and what they are reflecting should not be directly explained, but newer angles or unexplained nuances can be brought out through writing and the voice over. Reporters may not have the footage to explain 5 Ws and 1H can be understand with what, when, where, with whom, why and how. Thus, they could be explained through voice over that runs in the background. News writing plays an important role in covering the 5 Ws and 1H. Let us discuss on visual language. Since TV news is audio-visual medium, it is important to understand visual language. Visual language is a complex phenomena. That's why visual language is the system of communication that conveys meanings through visual elements such as photographs, videos, graphics. It is important to understand visual language for those reporting on television as it conveys important meanings as well as for aesthetic purposes. Television primarily deals with moving images. Thus, it is extremely important to understand the camera shots, angles, movements, and the meanings that it conveys. A picture is worth 1,000 words is often quoted to reflect the importance of the visuals and how even a single good picture could reflect multiple ideas. Images and scenes make the message memorable, whereas written messages are often forgotten. Scenes and images could be emotional, informational, persuasive, and influential, but visuals makes a lasting effect and impact on the audiences and reach larger audiences due to their simplicity. Many scholars have studied that human brains catch visuals faster than textual messages. Thus, anyone who is crafting stories on the television platform needs to understand the visual language for churning out engaging stories without compromising on the aesthetic values. They should be able to understand how camera captures and behaves and what meanings different shots reveal to the audiences. For example, a high-angle shot would make the subject look weak or vulnerable or small, whereas a low-angle shot would reflect power, grandiose, strong, and even intimidations. As news has to be objective and impartial, there should be a careful shooting of the events so that no extra meanings or narratives could be drawn out by the audiences unless they are intended so. It also means that video news stories that reach then audiences are not a compilation of shots, rather carefully edited shot and edited together to weave a logical story.